There's no denying it. What I'm talking about is a political record. I'm not talking about anything else. There was a lot of people that commented. And I'll read the public official comments because, as a matter of fact, I received a quorum of reaction and comments from city council members. Yeah, 5. Mr. Webb clicked, who's the Ward 2 council member, angry emoji. Miss Burge clicked an angry emoji. Mr. Hill liked somebody who wrote that I was being a mean girl because I wrote that. That's not being a bully, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not trying to bully him. I'm trying to say I'm disappointed and I don't know what he's doing in office. That's it. It's strictly about politics, government, political action, all of that. This isn't personal. That post was not personal. I used his official picture as a councilman to go along with the post so people knew who I was talking about. What happens is politicians, they use the spin game. They're going to flip it over on you. Oh, you said something. You proved a point. Now I have to disprove your point with misinformation and or attacks against you personally. And that's what they did. And that's fine. I posted it. Of course I'm going to take heat from something like that. And not just because it's me, but because Mr. Hill is a nice guy. He is a good person. Personally, I think he's young and impressionable. Therefore, there needs to be another discussion out there to maybe help him move in the right direction. And if not, that's fine. He can carry on that way. Because I'm going to be honest with you, folks. There are other folks paying attention and listening. Not only to this podcast, but to the council meetings and everything else. I received quite a bit of feedback from that post, positive feedback from that post privately. There are folks out there who are paying attention and voting, but are maybe a little afraid to speak out against things when it happens. So they encourage more discussion. They encourage folks like myself who are not afraid to stand up and talk about these issues. Look, I know how the game is played in Huber Heights. I don't live there no more, but I still love the city, and I'll talk about that a little later. There is going to be something, I don't know what, but they're going to try to retaliate against things like this. They always do. These politicians have an ego-driven mentality where, oh, you can't say that. You cannot shine light on what we are doing here, or we'll shut it down. All you have to do is pay attention. Watch them change the rules of council. Watch them try to flip-flop on the charter. Watch them flip-flop on their votes. It's a 6 days, ladies and gentlemen. He went from on one poll saying, I'm going to vote for Mr. Shaw to, nope, not going to do it. In public, where it counts, what happened? I kind of have an idea what happened. Let's go read the comments from your public officials from the post that I wrote. And I was just reading them a little bit. Yes. When Mr. Hill told me he was going to vote a certain way on something that I had worked hard and put a lot of stuff into, myself and many others told us he was going to vote one way and didn't. And I report, okay, so we got a few votes, guys, and we'll just watch and see. Well, and then he didn't vote. Yes, I did reach out to him and let him know that I'm tired of these council members lying to the people of the city, lying to me. And that's what I feel it was. I feel like it was a lie. You told me, well, I adjusted my opinion. Okay. So then come back and say, hey, where's the common courtesy nowadays? Come back and say, look, I thought I was going to vote that they don't do. You know why they won't do that? Because then you have an opportunity to tell them, hey, listen, that may sound like a good idea, but did you look at this aspect of this subject? They don't want to hear that because, well, they got to move forward, right? They're looking forward to the next election. Anyway, I had to say that because there was one comment that said, hey, I hope Matt said something to Mr. Hill and didn't just didn't just write this post on. I hope he would. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, not only did I say things in the past, that post is pretty doggone public, and he saw it. So the first council member that commented, two council members commented, the mayor and Mr. Shaw. But the mayor writes, everyone is entitled to their opinion, including me. I have worked with Andy for 2 years now, and he is one of the most genuine and honorable people I know. I like to add my 2 cents here and say that maybe, just maybe, Andy has learned some things after being elected that has caused him to represent his constituents in a certain manner. Well, let's just break that down real quick. What has Andy learned? Why won't the mayor elaborate? Who's in Mr. Hill's ear? Caused him to represent his constituents in a certain manner. What certain manner is that? A totally 180 from what he told everyone he was going to represent his citizens? Ladies and gentlemen, when you get elected on your platform, and I want a lot of you to go out and run for office, I would love to see that. The more folks running, the better shot we have of turning around the city of Huber Heights. What causes someone to change their mind a whole 180 when you're elected on? When you're elected and you ran on a certain platform and you go in and then you change your mind with no explanation, no nothing, you just do things. Something's up. Something's up there. The mayor continues. In fact, I'm sure of it. Whoa, he's sure of it. Let that sink in. He's sure of it. We are all flawed individuals in some form or another, Mr. Truman included. Hello? If you've listened to this podcast, you would know Matt Truman is a very flawed individual. Very flawed individual, and admits it on a daily basis. I don't do this podcast thinking I'm perfect. Lord knows I am I almost said but maybe not. I'm one of the most flawed individuals. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I pray for forgiveness every day. Hopefully you do as well. Mr. Truman promised everyone he would be back to the city he loved and called home as soon as he could be. Wrong. Fake news. I never promised anyone anything. Because I'm going to tell you if I promise you something or I give you my word, you bet that is what I intend to do. What I said is it is my hope to get back to Huber Heights. And I did for a while. And I got to break this down a little bit because he wants to throw this out there like, well, if he doesn't live in Huber Heights, then he don't really care about it. Do you guys really believe that is the truth? You believe that because I live now in Beaver Creek that I don't really care about the city of Huber Heights? Why would I do this for free? Why would I admin a Brick City page about city government or do a free podcast that I actually pay to put on the different sites? Why would I do that? Because I don't like Huber Heights? Think about it. He says, I didn't promise. I said, our intention is to get back there. And we did. I lived back there for 6 months. Had a contract on a house. And with the same company, a lot of things have happened. I'm not going to get into my personal part of that because I can't. But we had to choose something else for the family. And there's some things that were technical issues, like taxes in Huber Heights, like the zoning, the houses are so close together, little things like that. And then other things were like personal issues where there were certain, it's hard to say, but I guess I am getting into it, certain dynamics that I did not want conflicting with my family. A lot of things went into that decision because we were living in Huber Heights, but it just didn't work out. And as sad as that makes me, that I can't live back home and really put in more work. I mean, I'm there every week with a lot of different things, but it's hard to put in all the work when you are out here. But I want to do whatever I can to help Huber Heights prosper. Because maybe one day I will come back. I don't know. We rented a couple of places and then we finally bought a house. It's nice to have your own place. But anyway, enough about me. Let's carry on. So for him, the mayor, to say or insinuate that because I don't live in Huber, I'm a bad person or I don't care about the city, it's just wrong. And it's silly. And then he continues to write, yet purchased a home in another community as soon as he had the opportunity. I just explained that is absolutely false. I'm not trying to criticize Matt for his decision, but for me, someone as passionate about Huber as he is, moving to another city is disappointing to me. Basically, what he's saying is he moved to a different city, so don't care about Huber Heights. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's spin. To say don't listen to Matt, don't listen to what he brings out because he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Okay. We'll see how much I don't care. And then he follows it up with, one thing I tell my students every day, be the change you want to see. So that's his way of saying, I'm the authority. What I say is right and correct. You, and this is how I believe this guy feels, this mayor. I feel like he's on a power trip and he's looking out at everybody. You will do what I say. We will change these rules. We will fight for it. And then he will sell you a bill of goods to move the needle in his direction. And that's okay. Because we're going to wake up to it, ladies and gentlemen. And a lot of you already have. So, and a few other people, I'm not going to read the quote-unquote civilians writing on here. We're just going to stick to the council members. He writes another thing on here where he says, I won't speak for Andy, only about the kind of person I know he is. And if he chooses to respond to this, he's certainly capable. I'm pointing out facts, ladies and gentlemen, as I see them. And I think a lot of you see him the same way. And then he reiterates that I was just talking about you moving out. Because that was, Mr. Mayor said that. Another one of Mr. Mayor's friends that he helped, or, you know, the thought out there is that there was a lot of inner workings to help smear other council members. But we'll move on. And then the funniest thing, I think, from all of it was after all this, and you can read it if you want to, he writes, MV Truman, that's my handle on Facebook, enjoying the game. Hope you have a good night, too. Because I said, hey, nobody's Facebook fighting with you, bro. Have a good night. Enjoying the game? No, bro. You're on Facebook worrying about me, worrying about where I live. Everybody knows where I live. That's weird. The people that know where I live, I never even told I was moving. But they know where I live. Why is that? Think about that. All Mr. Gore was trying to do was make me look bad. And that's fine. He never commented. The only thing he commented about was he was disappointed in me for moving to Beaver Creek. He never commented on what Andy has actually done. Andy has voted with Mr. Gore and Mr. Gore's friends. He's voted with them when that wasn't how he campaigned. That's what I'm pointing out. He's done nothing that he said he was going to do. Mr. Hill, Ward 4 council member. And I did have a Ward 4 resident message me. Good job, Matt. Somebody needed to say that. Thank you very much. And then the following day, Mr. Richard Shaw, Ward 1, comments on the post. As a colleague and a friend of Mr. Andy Hill, I believe he cares deeply for our community. Never said he didn't, guys.